It happened once again. I'll turn to a friend, someone that understands, sees through the master plan. But everybody's gone, and I've been here for too long to face this on my own. Well, I guess this is growing up. Bah! This is growing up.
Yeah.
Because this is
American Brews
and Tunes. How? Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity-beeby-dow! Wow, welcome back to another fun episode of American Brews and Tunes. My name is Stephen Johnston.
And my name is Jesse Titus.
This is our first episode of 2019.
Woohoo!
Should all acquaintance be forgot and
I don't know any of the words to that.
Does it? I don't remember them either. With kindness in for auld lang syne. Something like that. We don't know.
Yep.
We don't know anything. Or do we? But anyways, it's nice to be back. New year.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, our last episode was that fun Christmas episode, and we took a little break for Christmas and New Year's and all that fun stuff in between.
Each of us went home to spend times with our respective families.
Jesse went to Minnesota. And I went to Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Because it was raining there, right?
It only rained on New Year's, I think, but it rained everywhere New Year's.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Did you visit any breweries while you were home?
I wish I did, but alas, I did not.
I went to a brewery in Minnesota in St. Paul called Bad Weather Brewing.
What'd you have there? Anything good?
Yeah, they had I think it was like a dark IPA. It was very interesting and tasty. I could also be wrong about that, but I know I had one beer there that was pretty good.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a black IPA kind of thing, like a maltier.
Cascade Ale.
Yeah.
Cascade Ale? Is it Cascadian?
Something like that.
Cascadian? I can't remember what it is either.
Either way.
But it was good, though.
Yeah, I had a good Christmas. It was nice to go back to Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy some not work.
Yeah, I know. That was the best part.
Yeah.
Was not having to work for a whole week.
But now we're back, and we're ready to bring you another regular episode. That means that Jesse and I have each listened to an album recommended by our respective co-host for the past... It's been more than 2 weeks.
It's been way
for the
more
past
than 2 weeks.
several weeks, I have been listening to Oracular Spectacular by the band MGMT.
Yep, and I've been listening to Career Suicide by A Wilhelm Scream.
Very different bands, very different albums.
What's the Wilhelm Scream again?
Ow! Yes, yeah, actually, that was pretty close to it, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a sound bite. A very famous stock soundbite. I think it was from some movie way back in the day, but it's been used time and time again in countless films.
Yeah.
Watch anything by Spielberg or George Lucas, and you'll
and
hear
they
it.
always use that same scream.
Yeah, it's very recognizable.
I guess you could probably look up, do you think if my rendition of that scream wasn't good enough, here's a soundbite of it.
Let's hear that soundbite.
That's what it is.
That's the Wilhelm Scream. I'm sure you've all heard it. And that's what the band took their name from.
Yes.
But before we get to reviewing those albums, let's talk about some brews. Shall we?
We shall. Let's talk about them and taste them.
Yes, I think that's a great plan. What are you having this week, Jesse?
I'm having a beer by Garr's Beer Company.
Do you think they're inspired by pirates? Garr,
It kind of looks like it. There's like there's like a fish in the shape of a G for Garr's.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Garr's Beer Co. It's called Citrus Pepper is the name of it, and it is a farmhouse ale. I got this today because I was like, that sounds interesting. The idea of citrus and pepper. It says, brewed by Straight to Ale, Huntsville, Alabama, for Garr's Beer Co., Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah, so Garr's is local, and Straight to Ale is not. So that's
it's a collaboration. I guess, yeah. So the IBU is 32, and it is 6.0% by volume, alcohol by volume.
Curious.
Or as the kids say, ABV.
ABV, the kids.
Yep.
I'm having a beer by Grimm Artisanal Ales. I'd never heard of them before, but they're from Brooklyn, New York.
And this beer is called Mango Guava Pop. Now, if you look at the if you look at the bottle, it says Dessert Berliner Weiss style ale. But on looking at Untapped, it's classified as a sour.
Really?
Untapped says this about the beer, the style guide, which was given by the brewery, so I guess it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It says, this tropical sour beer is a creamsicle in a glass.
Ooh.
Wow. Mangoes, guavas, vanilla, and milk sugar are backed with a grapefruit-like acidity. So I'm curious about this. I wasn't expecting sour, but I guess Berliner Weiss can be sour.
I guess, I don't know. I feel like maybe the sweetness is going to be pretty pronounced, and then there might be a slight sourness.
Could be.
Perhaps.
But the milk sugars and the vanilla make me think it's going to be creamy in general.
And I hope mine is like, I hope the pepper is not lost.
I don't think it will be, especially with that style of beer. I think it's peppery and herby is usually kind of a characteristic of that. Spicy, I guess is a better word.
Of the Farmhouse.
Yeah. So shall we crack these and see what they look like?
Let's do it. Ooh, what a nice sound.
I've actually had this beer for a couple months now.
Really?
It was a birthday gift from Becca.
Oh, wow.
So I think she gave this to me and she's like, you can have this on the podcast.
That's a good birthday gift.
And in my mind, I was probably like, yeah, right, I'll just have this for myself.
And now you're having it on the podcast.
That's probably what happened, let's be honest. Mine is extraordinarily foamy, and I poured it very gently.
Yeah, it is. But it's looking pretty cloudy, though. And it's also really, like, bubbling.
Yeah, it's very bubbly.
It's like going double the speed of my bubbles.
But mine is hazy and cloudy, and it's really light-colored.
Yeah, it looks really interesting.
It looks like a real light-colored beer.
It looks like, I guess like guava juice or like mango juice or something
I guess. But it smells tart.
Really?
Mine smells tart. I would say that we give these a clank and a try.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. As we always say in American Brews and Tunes. Oh, interesting. I need to go in for a second try.
Okay,
before I describe.
Mine is I'm not sure if I like mine.
That's not a good sign.
It's
I like mine. There's a tartness there.
And it's not that I don't like it. It's that it might just be normal. Like there's nothing.
You mean it's not exemplary or it's not?
Yeah.
That's not a bad sign.
No, it's definitely a good tasting beer. But the flavors are almost kind of dull.
Just very subtle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
That's not a bad thing, though.
Dull's kind of a bad word to use. I would say, yeah, very subtle.
Yeah, dull has a bad connotation.
Yeah.
Subtle's a better thing.
It's definitely not bad.
Yeah. Mine's tarter than I thought it would be for a Berliner Weiss, but not as tart as I would expect for a sour.
Really?
So I'm happy with it. I'm not sure that I get that. Well, it could just be that it's a little too cold right now to get all the flavors, but I'm not sure that I'm getting all of the vanilla.
Oh, really?
All the fruit. In fact, let me go in for another sip because it's tart and there's kind of a lot going on. So I'm just gonna give it another try.
Okay.
Maybe a little vanilla, but it's more in the fruit realm. I am getting the fruit flavors.
Yeah.
I wish there was more vanilla, but maybe that'll come through as it warms up. But it's
guessing
solid.
It probably might.
I like it quite a bit.
You want to do a little switch ski?
Yeah, let's do a little switch ski. Switch. All right, let's see about how subtle this beer actually is that Jesse
Oh, it
claims.
smells weird.
Yours smells standard.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually, the subtlety is quite nice on yours, I think. I do get all of the spices I would expect to find in a farmhouse, but it is dialed back.
Yeah.
I've had some farmhouses that are like really in your face with the spices, almost to the point where it's like a little nail polishy.
Yeah.
This was nice. I think that's a really good one. I might make it a little colder than you have it right now, just because I think
I think it'd probably be a little bit better.
I think it'd be a little bit better cold, and on a hot day, that would be a perfect beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like yours.
Yep.
What do you think of mine? Do you get the vanilla too much?
Only slightly.
Yeah.
It's
more of that fruit flavor, I think.
if you're expecting it to taste like a creamsicle, it probably you will not be happy.
Yeah, I think that was a bad descriptor.
It's more
It's like a tart fruit.
It's definitely more just like a tart fruit with a slight vanilla flavor.
Yeah, I liked it, but it's
Which
not
is still
creamsicle.
it tastes good, but definitely not a creamsicle
If I
though.
was going to go for a creamsicle beer, there are two beers that pop into my mind. The first being from Mantra Artisan Ales, a local brewery. They have that Citrine-sicle, which was a orange cream pale ale, I think.
Yeah.
And the Stone, what was that triple IPA that they have? The
It was
the vanilla orange
Ruination?
Ruin 10.
Ruin 10. Yeah.
The vanilla orange, because that one was like a
that one was
imperial
really good.
creamsicle.
That one was very good.
Yeah. But great.
Anyway,
If the flavors changed, we'll let you know.
Yep.
But let's move on to the music.
let's do it.
I think you went first the last time we had a regular scheduled episode.
Okay.
So I'm going to go first.
All right.
Executive decision. All right, MGMT, the band that everyone knows but nobody really knows.
Yep.
I think that's a descriptor, right? I'm sure
Really?
everyone's probably heard the name
Everyone's heard them, but they don't really listen to their music.
or know that they know any of their songs.
Mm-hmm.
That was the boat that I was in for a long time. Even though I knew their songs, I was just like, I don't know which songs they do, even though I know their songs.
Yeah.
That's a weird runaround way of describing that. But anyways, this is their debut album, their debut full-length album, Oracular Spectacular. Ooh, welcome to the Oracular Spectacular. Gather round. Come on, come all. Oracular Spectacular.
That does
One night
kinda-
only.
That does kind of seem like
A big,
that's what the title.
like it should be on a show poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. This came out in 2007. I thought it was like closer to 2009, 2010. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was very wrong for some reason. But going back to the actual band themselves, they used to be called Management when they started
really?
out. But apparently there was another band, and instead of like facing lawsuits, they just switched it to MGMT.
So I was right
You were right.
whenever I told you that a little bit ago.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's pretty funny.
As far as this album goes, I'd say it's their most popular. It's their most well-performing album commercially.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate they couldn't recreate the magic, but that doesn't mean their newer music isn't bad. It's just
Yeah.
this album was a huge breakthrough for them.
Yeah. And I haven't listened to many other albums from them.
Yeah, I've only listened to like a couple songs here and there just to kind of see where they're at, and it's
Yeah.
different. They've kind of moved away from what they sounded like then.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, the two really big songs, "Time to Pretend" and "Kids," which I'll touch upon those songs later,
Okay.
they were on a previous album. They released
Oh,
an EP
really?
called "Time to Pretend," and they had earlier versions of those two songs.
Oh, interesting.
And you'll see when bands will re-record certain songs because they
Yeah.
think they'll do better now that they're more famous.
Yeah.
But to redo two songs is interesting.
Yeah.
And
That's
I guess
very
it's good that they
interesting.
did because those are two really big songs from this album.
Yeah.
They have more members now, and I don't know if they're just touring members or if they're full-time members, but during this album, it was essentially just recorded by the two members.
Yeah. By the two guys.
The two guys. And if you look
Yeah,
at the cover, you'll
yep.
see them dressed up in their weird garb, their tribal garb. I
Yeah.
should say that because tribal comes up later in this album.
Okay.
But I'm just going to go into the rating system. Not the rating system, but the rating system will come.
Okay.
Let's dive into the album.
Okay. Let's do
The
it.
very first song is called "Time to Pretend," and they start off strong.
Yeah.
This is my first recommendation, and I give this a rating of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
Not only because that's featured in the trailer for Spider-Man: Homecoming, but because that's my favorite Spider-Man movie to date.
Gotcha.
So this is my favorite song on the album.
Nice.
I also should note that I am dressed up like Spider-Man right now.
Is that
That's
the
why.
specific reason
That's
you're
the
dressed up as
specific reason.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This is my favorite because the instrumental hook, like the music part, and then coming in with that big synth part, I would consider that a musical hook.
Yeah.
And then there's a chorus hook also later on.
Yeah.
And the verses, I think all of it is solid the whole way through. I think
Yeah.
every part in that song is gold.
Yeah.
It was just such a well-written song. So catchy. I don't know. I just really like all the different synth parts that come in almost chronologically. I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah.
But they all have different textures and timbres. Like they gave each one its own sound, so when it comes in, you can pick every single part. It's panned really well in the mix, so you can pick out parts on the left versus the right. It's just like a really well polished, awesome sounding song.
Yep.
Lyrically, it seems about getting famous
Mm-hmm.
and the troubles that come along with that, whether that's thinking about the past and what you don't have anymore, or trying to navigate through the fakeness or the disillusionment of being famous.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just going through there and like fated to pretend, whatever that means.
We're fated
That can mean a bunch of
to
different things,
pretend.
how you want to interpret it. But
It's
it's a pretty good song.
It is.
I cannot tell a lie. For mostly all their songs, I don't listen to them for the words. I really listen for the music.
Okay.
How would you kind of judge yourself based on that? Do you listen to the words when you listen to MGMT?
Yeah, I definitely do. But
I don't ignore them, but
yeah,
I mainly listen to this album and listen to the music.
yeah. I mean, the music is. I guess that's what drew me in first as well. Was like the synths that you were mentioning and
Yeah.
their instrumentation and whatnot.
But then you kind of stuck around for the lyrics.
Yep.
All right, fair
And
enough.
they slapped me upside the head.
Yeah. I mean, their lyrics are deeper than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little too deep for me. But we'll touch upon that. Maybe on the next time. The next song we'll definitely touch upon that. Moving on to track number 2, which is called Weekend Wars.
Weekend Wars.
If this album wasn't 10 songs long, this would be an honorable mention. But because it's only 10 songs, I don't want to have almost half the album be my shining stars, you know?
Yeah.
So this is just going to be rated as Spider-Man, the first Tobey Maguire movie.
Okay.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay.
It's a good start. But this is a big change of pace from the last
Yes.
song. It's got like a weird... I don't know how to describe the feel of this song, but it's keyboard driven, more piano than synth.
Is this the Youth Are Starting to Change, that one?
No, that's the
it's-
song Youth, which will come later.
Okay.
But this
How
has
does this one go?
like it's got this keyboard part that is really the driving force. It's like evil SIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it starts
It's
off.
it's avant-garde.
Yeah, almost touching upon that a little bit. It's just
such a big
experimental sound,
It's just such a big switch from the first song that was really poppy.
and this one's out there.
Yeah.
But that keyboard part that's like almost harpsichordy sounding, but not quite. It's just it's out there. But the instrumental part I really like. The verses, they're okay. The chorus I really don't care for.
Yeah.
Lyrically, I don't know. There's definitely some drug references and getting bored on the weekend and kind of falling in that drugs, like taking I think they talk about smashing plants or dissolving plants and painting the walls,
Yeah.
which I think is about taking whatever kind of drug you want to do and seeing things, whatever.
Stroking the furry wall.
Yeah, in another word, stroking the furry wall. But it's abstract and kind of confusing if you really look at the
Abstract
lyrics.
is a good word for it.
Yeah. But moving on to track number 3, which is The Youth.
The Youth.
This is my second recommendation.
Oh,
And I gave it a rating of Spider-Man 2. The best of all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. Let's be honest.
Agreed.
It's a great film. It's emotional. It's action-packed. Tobey Maguire is still like 35 years old as a young college student. But that's okay. I really don't care for the melody and the verse. Like I even right now, I can't think of the melody in the verse. It's kind of a wash for me. But the hook and the chorus is great. The youth are starting to change. Are you starting to change? And it's just really catchy. And that's what drew me in. After the first listen, I remembered it. Which that's usually a telling part for me. If I can remember it after one listen,
Then
that's
you're
good.
probably gonna like it.
Then I'm probably gonna like it. I could
Right.
also remember it because it's bad, but not in this case. There's a weird key shift later on in the song. They take that chorus and they drop it down.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It is odd. But lyrically, this is much more easy to interpret than the last song. It's about the youth.
Yep.
Kind of like going against either
Going
the
against the
parents
grain.
or going against the grain. Almost in like a hippie-ish kind of vibe. A lot of talk about love and life and kind of spreading that. Just kind of doing whatever you want and disregard.
Yep.
Be loving. Enjoy life.
Yeah.
But it's a nice song. Again, this is a very different feel from the very first song and the song that's about to come.
Okay.
Track number 4 is called Electric Feel. Not Electric
This was
Feel,
the-
Electric Feel.
This was the first song that I heard from this album, and I was like, "This song is dope."
This, along with the first song, Time to Pretend were both singles, both pushed very hard. I did not recommend this one, but I did give it a rating of Spider-Man the Animated Series, which is the best of all of the Spider-Man television shows.
Okay.
This is the one that came out. It was either late 90s or early 2000s. I can't remember, but it's the best one. Very successful single. Obviously, you heard it beforehand, so it reached you.
Yep.
Very dancey. Maybe the danciest of all the songs.
Very dancey, yeah.
And not dancey like synthy like Time to Pretend, but more like bass-driven, funky 70s, 80s vibe.
Yeah.
It's that bass, boom, bum, 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 bum. And there is a synth, like electronic texture kind of thing going on. Yeah. But I think it's bass-driven. That kind of keeps it all together. Very catchy. This song's about sex. Mm-hmm. They kind of hide it, but not really. It's the electric feel. They make lots of references to the Amazon and electricity and the river, like a river or water. Okay. About that spreading. So it's pretty obvious about what they're touching upon. But it's a very catchy song. I can see why it was pushed as a single. Is it your favorite song on the album?
Yeah. Boom, boom.
Weird time signature also. Like couple partial bars, you think, right?
Yeah, partial bars probably.
Let's move on to another song.
Let's do it.
Track number 5 is called Kids, and this is my last recommendation.
Okay.
I gave this a rating of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the most recent Spider-Man movie, and maybe my second favorite.
Really?
Super good.
Behind Homecoming?
Yeah. Well, this might be tied for Spider-Man 2, starring Tobey Maguire. Well, maybe a little bit above that.
Starring Tobey Maguire.
Gotta specify.
Yeah.
But this was, again, another single that was pushed, so it's big and anthemic, just like the last song in Time to Pretend. And I'd say all three of those, even though they're the biggest songs, they're the outliers on the album.
Yeah, they are.
This song is way more synthy than Electric Feel, but almost in the vein of Time to Pretend, where it's that big synth sound, and it's got that big synth hook.
Like poppy melody and...
The only songs I knew from MGMT were the 3 singles. Like, I knew them very well going into this album.
Like, those songs just make me want to dance.
They're super dancey, super mainstream, super poppy, very anthemic. Like, if you hear the song, you know it. You're going to bob your head to it. Even if you don't like it, it's infectious. Yeah. Very, very well-written songs. This song, like I said, it's about kids, and the first verse alludes to being a kid with no troubles and no thought of what's the word? Consequences. That's the word. I think they even say that. But then it kind of seems to change a little bit in the next verses and in the chorus, and it takes an environmental turn, I would say, about conservation and moderation. And maybe that's not what they mean, but that's what I got out of it. Yeah. The chorus is, control yourself, take only what you need from it. A family of trees wanting to be or waiting to be haunted. So it's what it sounds like, is the environment.
Control yourself.
Take only what you need from it. Musically, I really like, I think it's after, I think a bridge section where it's just kind of like that, and the drums. And the drum's doing a steady beat, but then he adds a couple fills here and there. I don't want to say full drum solo, but he adds this really nice ornamentation here and there. And I'm just like, oh yeah. And then it kind of like slows out and cuts out and you think it's over. And it comes back in.
Oh, right. Yeah. I remember that part.
Surprise ending. We're back. They do one of those. But it's a good song.
Yeah, I like that song a lot.
And we've reached the half point of the album.
Halfway point.
And it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
This is, in my opinion, a very front-loaded album. And if it was up to me, I would chop this into an EP and cut the rest of the songs. I don't want to be harsh. That's a little too harsh.
Yeah, but that's too harsh. In my opinion, that is as well.
Those first 5 songs are really pretty good.
Yeah.
I could not get into the last 5 as much.
Yeah.
There are redeeming values in each of the songs. For the most part. But we'll get into that. Okay. Starting right now with track number 6, Fourth Dimensional Transition. I gave this a rating of Avengers Infinity War because it's a good movie and Spider-Man's in it. The new Spider-Man. I have absolutely no clue what's going on lyrically. It's This is probably the most abstract
It's-
sounding song.
Fourth dimension.
Yes.
Can't understand it, bro.
It's weird. And according to Lyric Genius, a couple sources that were cited, he's talking about some Plato theory of form and something else. And it's just,
Really?
it was above my head. Like, if I sat there and spent a week researching this song by itself and looking up everything, I'm sure I could figure it out a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it's out there. Musically, I think it's much more interesting than it is lyrically. Because
Interesting.
it almost sounds Eastern, like maybe
Okay,
Indian,
yeah,
perhaps,
yep.
with that drummy and the melody sounds a little Eastern. It's just really cool musically, so that I can ignore the lyrics and still be interested.
That's too funny.
Other than that, though, I don't have too much to say about it.
Okay.
Moving on to track number 7, the song's called Pieces of What? And I gave this a rating
Pieces
of
of what?
Captain America Civil War. Another great film that also... this was actually the first movie to star the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland. And it's the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie to have Spider-Man. Thank goodness that Sony could agree with Marvel. It's a great. Without that, there would be no Spider-Man Homecoming. We would be lost. It would just be terrible.
It would be terrible.
This song might be the biggest outlier on the album. It's more acoustic driven, so it really stands out.
Yeah.
Every other song is either more rock and rolly or more electronic sounding. Not this one. This song is what I believe is about war and the destruction and what's left in its wake.
Okay.
They talk about looking through holes in the ceiling and like all these kind of things that are left over after the destruction. But other than that, I don't have too much to say about it. Pieces of what? Because he's picking up pieces, and there's pieces of stuff that are not usable anymore.
Okay.
Pieces of what?
What is
What? Pieces of what? Anyways, moving on to another weird song. Track number 8 is called Of Moons, Birds, and Monsters.
Oh.
I gave this a rating of Amazing Spider-Man. That's the movie
the one
with
with,
Andrew
Andrew
Garfield.
Garfield?
He was a great Spider-Man. Terrible Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Terrible casting choice. Whoever did that.
He was way too good looking. To be
And he
Peter
was just
Parker.
too hip and cool. He skateboarded around his school.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's not Peter Parker.
Peter Parker doesn't skateboard to the tune of Coldplay. Jeez.
Is that wait? What song did they use from Coldplay in that movie?
I can't remember what the song was called, but it's definitely a Coldplay song that he's skateboarding around some like construction site. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a weird Coldplay song. It sounds more like their Mumford and Sonsy sounding
Oh,
Coldplay
really?
song. But that's aside the point. This song is another departure from their sound, at least from the A side. This one's more like
so many departures.
This is more like a 50s and 60s sounding rock and roll song. And I don't mean like Beatles, like 12-bar blues rock and roll, but just like the vibe almost. Like
Okay.
the guitar tones. It's not electric driven. It's definitely like I don't know how to, like a raw organic band.
Yeah.
What would you call it? Natural. It's more natural, less electronic.
Right, less electronic. Yep.
No clue what it's about. Again, this is another abstract song that goes over my head, and I didn't care to really figure it
Kind
out.
of try to dig into it.
I dug into it, and it just
Really.
it eluded me like Dig Dug. Moving on to track number 9. This song's called The Handshake. This song I could figure out. Much
Okay.
more easy to figure out. I gave this a rating of Amazing Spider-Man 2 because that movie's a bummer. Terrible.
Really.
Hated that movie. I didn't even buy it. Yeah.
That's saying something too.
I buy all the Spider-Man movies, but not that one. This song is about signing to a major record label, because
Yeah.
that's what they did for this, and making a deal with the handshake.
Oh.
Whoa, on the nose. This has a similar rock and roll vibe from the last song, but it's a little bit more toned down, I'd say. I don't care for it musically. It doesn't do anything for me, but I like that they're singing about signing a record label, a deal, and like having that a bit of excitement, but a bit of guilt and regret.
Yeah.
And like kind of going forward anyways and having that
Yeah.
handshake. So I like that they're talking about that, but I don't really care for it musically. Moving on to the last song. This is called Future Reflections, track number 10. I gave this a rating of Spider-Man 3.
Ooh.
Tobey Maguire. Still better than Amazing Spider-Man 2, though. There are good elements in this one.
Who was the villain in Amazing Spider-Man 2? I don't even
There were
remember.
two villains.
I don't even remember seeing the movie.
Technically 3. But one of them wasn't... 2 of them were anti-heroes, per se. One was the Sandman, who ends up helping him in the end. Another one was Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin.
Okay.
And the third is Venom. Topher Grace, The Venom.
Wait. That was with Andrew Garfield?
No, this is Tobey
That's
Maguire.
Spider-Man 3, right?
Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I was asking about Spider-Man 2 Home...
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man...
that is Jamie Foxx playing Electro.
Oh, I don't even think I saw that movie.
Don't, because it's horrible.
Really?
His character was like it was just, if you imagine how animated cartoon villains are, times that by 2 and that's him.
Really?
It was just, like, his acting was so bad.
Oh,
I like
jeez.
Jamie Foxx too.
Yeah.
It was just,
He's a good actor.
I didn't like
I
him
guess
in
he
this
just
role.
wasn't a good villain.
Yeah. Watch it sometime just so you can let me know what you
Okay.
think.
I wonder if it's on Netflix.
It's not. I could probably find it for like $5 somewhere. I'll buy it
Yeah.
and I'll let you watch it.
Okay.
But this song...
This song is
back
that
to track number
movie.
10. No, this is Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, okay.
Better than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
This song has a lot of tribal references, like the cover art. Remember I talked about that?
Yeah.
And I didn't really touch upon any tribal references in other songs, even though they are there. This is a song where they really touch upon it. But I think they're using that as a reference or an allegory to their musical career and fame and kind of their life where they're at. They're not actually in a tribe, obviously, unless they're a tribe of MGMT.
MGMT
that's beside the
tribe.
point.
Management tribe.
Not my favorite musically, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
All in all, it took me a long time to get into this album, other than the 3 big songs.
Yeah.
I think those are the best songs. I really think that this album is front-loaded, but it almost seems like they did that on purpose, where the first half was the more electronic, anthem-y, cool songs, and the B-side was the other weird-sounding songs.
Yeah.
The rock and roll or the acoustic or the Indian, just the other stuff.
Yeah, I suppose that probably is the best decision because they probably knew like those 3 songs were going to be what people liked or like were the best. Yeah. And so they probably consciously chose to put them on the A side
Odd, though.
rather than the B side.
But this, they did something right because this is their best album. It sold over 500,000 copies in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it did very well.
Yeah.
Very well. Very, very well.
Yeah, whenever I recommended that album to you, I was like, it's worth recommending, even though it's front loaded and I'm not a huge fan of the other stuff.
Yeah, I like the singles, but I might not come back to it other than those
Yeah.
3 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right though. Definitely worth listening to. Just the same as Career Suicide from A Wilhelm Scream.
But this album is so different.
Yes, this album is quite different. There's essentially no variety in the album. It is just fast punk,
Yes.
basically.
A Wilhelm Scream, I think I told you this, but they were coming off an album called Ruiner, and it was a really good album. I don't know what you would call it, post-hardcore punk,
Yeah.
something or other. And there was a lot of variety on that album as far as their sound, and they decided consciously to make an album that was all fast punk songs.
Yeah.
And that's what turned into Career Suicide.
Yeah. The Trevor Riley,
One of the guitar players, right?
guitarist and vocalist, he said that they wanted the whole album to be like relentless, like all the way through, like no breaks
And
in the
that's
album, and that's what it is.
literally what it is. It's
Yeah.
abrasive.
This album was also released in 2007.
Must
so
have been a
same
good year for
as-
music.
Yeah, same as Oracular Spectacular.
And Oracular Spectacular, the year it was. Oh.
Yeah, so this is their 3rd studio album from A Wilhelm Scream. And it's the first time with bassist Brian Robinson.
Yes.
This was the singer Trevor again. He said that
Guitar player.
Yeah, guitar player and singer.
Backup singer.
Oh, backup singer. Okay.
Yeah, they got a dedicated singer
Okay, gotcha.
called Nuno.
Nuno.
I think that's his name. Yeah.
But anyway, it said on Wikipedia that Trevor described the addition of Robinson to their band like Travis Barker's addition to Blink-182.
Yes.
Where it was like that added so much to their sound.
I mean,
He's the bassist, yeah, and
if you listen
he
to
kills it on this album.
A Wilhelm Scream, they're the most technical punk band one of the most technical punk bands I've ever
Yeah.
listened to. They don't really do too much in the way of time signature things, but they throw in some weird things here and there.
Yeah.
The guitar playing is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The drumming is insane. He's a good singer and obviously whatnot.
Yeah.
But the bass player is the star.
He's crazy good.
He's crazy. Every single song, he's just ripping it up, and especially a few in particular that I'm sure you'll touch upon.
Yeah. So listening to this album, it was kind of difficult to listen to it because of the fact that they all sounded the same.
And they all do sound the same. And how many songs is it? Like
13?
13, and it probably clocks in at like
35 minutes.
35 minutes. So it's
I mean, it's like a lot. It's a lot to take in, but that doesn't mean that I don't like it though.
It's just it's abrasive, it's fast, and a lot of the songs kind of blend together if you don't really spend a lot of time with it.
Yeah. So that being said, I actually just recommended 2 songs. The ones that are the most different.
Okay.
The biggest outliers on the album are the ones that I'm recommending. So the first track is called "I Wipe My Ass with Showbiz."
Showbiz spelled with a Z.
Showbiz spelled with a Z. Yeah.
That sounds hilarious.
It is pretty funny. One of the lines says, "Dear mother, I sold my soul for management."
Yeah.
And apparently, like some guy is like lying in a bathtub writing those words on the wall or something like that.
Yeah. A letter to his mom.
Yeah. A lot of the lyrics that they use in this album are all kind of
crass.
They're crass. They are abrasive. I mean, what's the word? What's the phrase I'm looking for? They're like
confrontational.
They're angsty.
Yeah, angsty.
And like it was hard for me to derive meaning in a lot of the songs because it was so like
witty.
Jumbled. Like all like a lot of the themes of the songs were very vague.
I don't know if I would call them like cliches, but they use a lot of I don't know what you would call it. They do have a weird word choices and phrase choices, I guess.
Yeah, like I think in one of the songs he talks about razor blades spitting out of his eyes or something like that.
He uses weird. Yeah,
and I'm like, what does that mean? But anyway, that song's pretty good. It also is basically like dissing
the music industry.
The music industry, yeah.
The people who are out there just for money.
Yeah, or just
putting big signs on the stage and stuff.
Yeah, that's actually, it seems like that. There are like a couple regular themes in this album. That, and I guess at the time in the kind of like scene they were in, a lot of the other artists were like, in one of their songs they describe them as kabuki jocks. In one of their songs, so like people are like more concerned with their appearance than
Makes
with
sense.
like the substance of the music. So there's that theme of like not trying to find the value in the music rather than like your image and whatnot, and then the theme of hating the music industry.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
and also a little bit about religion thrown in there.
A little bit here and there,
just for good measure.
For good measure, it's a punk band.
Punk band. Yeah, got to throw that in there. Anyway, track number 2 is called 5 to 9.
This is one of the more technical songs, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of weird hits and stops.
Mm-hmm. It's is this that one song? Yeah.
That was a horrible rendition of it, but
no, you got the basic of it.
That's the intro, the beat.
Yeah, it's super technical, and whenever I'm listening to this, I'm always like, I don't think I could ever play that.
I could never play this on any of the instruments played there. It's just insane.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and that is kind of the general feel of the whole album. It's like fast, heavy, and technical.
So good. Did you know Nick from the Swellers was a touring member as their band as a bass player?
Yeah,
crazy. That was before this album, though. Obviously,
no, that was on this album, for like the release of it, they toured with the Swellers,
but it was before. He played with them on the previous album cycle, I think, when they were looking for a bass player.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I did not know about that.
He's got really good chops as a guitar player, so it doesn't make me think that he couldn't play bass for them.
Yeah,
at least before this album,
for sure.
Yeah.
And this song 5 to 9, I'm fairly certain that it's a statement about the emo scene or the hardcore punk scene in 2007.
Probably.
This is the one where they're talking about how people are more concerned with their images than like the music.
Yeah. And that's the opposite of 9 to 5, so they're trying to be a little
5 to 9
funny there because it's the opposite of a regular job.
Yeah. So it's like they were treating it like a job and not like it actually mattered, you know. Now we get to the third track, which is my first recommendation. So you know it's a little bit different.
Ooh.
And it's called The Horse.
It's one of their best songs in general, in my
The
opinion.
song is so crazy.
It is crazy.
This is one of those songs that I can kind of get the meaning. Like it's basically it's like a metaphor for life. The whole song.
On the horse.
Yeah, the horse. So basically he like sets up this situation where this horse, which is a racing horse, is just like sitting in a pen and only sleeps but half the time.
Mm-hmm.
And how essentially the person who owns the horse changes and they use him to like win races, obviously. And he eventually the horse accepts that and is just like, I'm gonna race until I die. And so I think he's trying to draw the line, or like we're supposed to be that horse.
Yeah.
Essentially is what he's saying, how we live. And at the end he talks about, he like lists off all these like drugs that are used on horses, either to like euthanize them or like steroids and other crazy drugs that I've never heard of. And then he also mentions some like I think he mentions like, what's the word? The drugs that like make humans high. There's like a word for it.
Amphetamines?
Yeah. Yep. He talks about that too, and he draws like a similar line to how people like do that and like until they die or whatever. So it's like it's a really they're murky waters that to try to get through with their lyrics.
Yes.
I think they're not very clear. At least as far as a punk band goes.
But they're definitely trying to send a message.
Yeah.
It's not just
randomness.
It's not shallow. Yeah.
It's not shallow, yeah.
But this song musically,
musically the song rips.
Yes, it does.
It's so crazy.
Why?
Because of the technicality of what they do.
Is there any good shining moments to allude to?
I mean, the bass.
Why? What do you mean the bass? What, does he do anything in this song that's cool or something?
Yeah, he plays the bass.
How?
I can't remember exactly how it goes. But what part are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of the part where he taps on the bass.
Oh, right.
The best part of this whole song. It's right after the intro part.
Yeah.
The music cuts out other than there's a singer, Nuno or whatever his name is, and Trevor is harmonizing, and it's just the bass guitar tapping. And if you watch it live, which I did, I had the fortunate experience of watching it once. They did this. The bass player is tapping on the bass and singing
he's
backups.
tapping there.
He's tapping
and singing. Oh my gosh,
it's insane. The guy's a machine.
I didn't know that he was tapping there. I just assumed it was like.
I mean, that would be insane if it was by itself, because he doesn't use a pick. He does all finger, but he's tapping on the bass. It's just insane on this song.
Yeah.
The guy is a beast. He's a horse.
He's a horse.
No.
But the reason I recommend it is not only because of that, but since they had that, it's like it's not all just heavy the whole song.
Yeah.
It's still fast, but it's not all heavy. Like there's a good diversity. Yeah.
That part slows it down and you get those harmonies. And those voices blend together really well.
Yeah. Like you can almost hardly tell that there's more than one person singing.
Yeah. It just sounds really nice and it just blends so well.
But anyway, that song is dope.
I'm really curious to find out which the other song is that you recommended.
Oh. I guess, I don't really know if you'll know.
I don't know. There's only one other song that sounds different to me, and it's the song about a ghost. Thinking of the ghost of... Yeah,
I didn't recommend that one.
Okay, so I'm not sure then. unless it's the Jaws song.
Maybe. That song's pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
Track number 4 is called Die While You're Young.
Let's die while you're young.
Yeah. That's from what I can tell, that's essentially what the song is about.
I mean, there's an old punk song called Live Fast, Die Young.
Yeah.
Has much changed since then in punk?
Not really.
No, it's a very common theme.
Yeah.
YOLO.
Yep. The last line he says, let's die while we're young, but now we're too old for that.
Too old to die while we're
young. Too old to die while you're young.
We missed our opportunity to live and crash. That's actually a funny aspect to say.
What? Sorry.
We're too old to die while we're young.
Yeah.
We
What
missed
is-
our opportunity to fizzle out and go boom while we're young.
Yeah. On to track number 5. I love the title of this song. Jaws 3, People 0.
Another great exemplary bass song.
Yes. Fantastic bass parts in this song.
Weird lyrically song.
Yeah, I think it's like about a captain. This is what I'm talking about. With how like their songs are kind of difficult to understand.
He's singing about a captain.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it literally means that.
I
or
don't
if
think it's
about
a literal
something else.
captain. Is he trying to like allude to
A
like
specific
the
person
the president?
or a follower. Yeah,
Like-
it could be because
and-
they're fairly political without being
Yeah.
on the nose at all.
Yeah. So this whole story in this song is like the captain, like the crew, like knows the captain is leading them in the wrong direction, essentially.
They're trying to
And-
get the F out of there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It starts off with him just like, let's get the F out of here.
Yeah. But there's this one part where it just cuts out and the bass goes boom, 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 and then he cuts out, and then the guitar comes in playing that, and the bass harmonizes with it. Hearing the guitar
Yeah.
doing that shredding while the bass harmonizes with the shredding is just insane to hear that. Those two tones shouldn't be harmonizing together, but they do.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's awesome.
Whenever
They do.
whenever you went to the show, what was it, last year?
Like last October.
And you're like, do you want to go? And I was like, nah, I regret it.
I told you.
It's too bad.
At the end of the show, I was like, Jesse missed out. This show was so good.
Yeah, it would have been sweet.
Yeah. Maybe they'll come back.
Hopefully.
They are really worth seeing live. They're so tight.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I would assume so.
Yeah.
So yeah, that song is good. I mean, like, I gave like all the songs 4 out of 5, pretty much.
I don't think I dislike anything on this album.
Yeah, same here.
It's like Trevor said, the guitar player, it's abrasive the whole way through, and you can listen to it and just not even realize that it's over. You're like, wow, that was a fast ride.
Yeah.
Except for the last
It's almost
song.
like if a roller coaster was just all downhill.
Just
It
like,
was just a,
ah!
and it never ended. Well, and it lasted for 35 minutes. But anyway, on to track number 6. It's called Career Suicide.
Title track.
Title track, yep. Starts off kind of soft. Just with like kind of clean guitar picking. And then gets really heavy and fast.
Yeah.
What
No
else?
surprise
What else
there.
did you expect? And I think this is like a song about how people sell out or
Probably
something like that.
Probably no surprise there.
I'm not really sure. Like I said, a lot of the lyrics, they don't always send a clear message.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Like I think they all tie in together, but they're not like. It's not like he's telling you a story. He's
Even
like,
if it's not an abstract lyric, it's hard to put it together.
yeah.
Yeah. I think we touched upon that with what was that one guitar player that you had me review his album that
Richard Buckner.
yeah, Richard Buckner was like that by using common words that aren't abstract sounding. And you look at all of them like, I understand this one sentence, I understand the next sentence, but I have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah, I have no idea how they all fit together.
Yes,
they're all
kinda
they're,
like
like
that.
really vague, and it's almost like a mosaic that's missing.
Yeah, so
Things.
it clearly it's put
Missing
together
some
for a
of the little
reason.
pieces of
It's
glass.
just we don't. It's hard to interpret.
Yeah, so like the best way to know what these songs are about is if whoever wrote them just told you.
Yeah,
That would be the easiest way.
we could ask him one day, maybe.
Maybe we'll
Maybe.
meet him one day. Anyway, track number 7 is called "These Dead Streets." I think the song is about them trying to resurrect these dead streets. As to what these dead streets are, I do not know.
Maybe their hometown. Maybe
Maybe hometown.
They're from Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Outside, somewhere outside.
or maybe
of Boston, I
it's
think.
maybe it's just generally the idea of trying to resurrect places that are run down,
Yeah,
or
could
people
be.
that are run down, or something like that. But that song's good, fast, catchy, nice,
All of the above.
all the above, and that applies to all these
All
songs.
the above. All the above. Oh, all the above. T-Pain.
Is that? Oh, those actually are the lyrics, right?
Yeah, for all the above.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about that
For some
one?
reason, I thought you were taking the melody from one song.
All the above, oh, all the above, oh, all the above. There was that singing group that parodied it to
above.
Call Me
Yeah.
a Duck. Call me a duck. It's goofy.
Call me a duck.
Oh.
Call me a duck. That's not a bad duck impression.
I ain't no duck.
Hey, let's get the duck out of here.
Duck Dynasty. Oh, this is ridiculous. Let's move back on to Wilhelm Scream.
Anyway, the next track, which is track number 8, is "Get Mad, You SOB."
I took a piss in every ocean, so
Yeah.
F the world.
Yeah. And I believe this is the song about not being complacent and like getting mad and doing something
Mad
with
about
your
the
life.
situation or the man or
Yeah,
whatever.
like mad about the situation that you're in, so you want to change it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's a good song.
It
I like
is
it.
fast and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On to track number 9, which is called "Our Ghosts," and in parentheses, contemporary/consensual.
I think this one for me is a little bit of a departure from that fast it's hard to say that it is because there's really fast parts in this song,
Yeah.
but that first chorus they kind of strip it back and it feels a little slower. It almost feels like it glides real nice,
Yeah.
and so it's got a different vibe, but then it gets back into being fast again.
Yeah. And I was thinking about recommending this one, but then I chose a different one.
You could have done 3. There's a lot of songs
know.
on here, but your choice.
I could have.
Your
but I
review,
didn't.
man. You got the power.
One of the lyrics from it is, "I'm working out contingents with your ghost, sorting through specifics with your ghost, explaining my position with your ghost. I'm seeing double vision with your ghost." So I don't know what the ghost is in reference to
It's hard
in
to
that song. Maybe a past relationship
Could be.
or a family member who passed away or someone who passed away.
Also could be.
Yeah. Even though like I said before, even though the lyrics are kind of straightforward, they're kind of difficult to piece together. But yeah, that song's good. I like it. On to track number 10, "Cold Slither 2."
Cold Slither 2. I don't know why they say 2.
And this is where that spice kind of comes in, where they talk about religion a little bit. But I think there are only 2 songs that they kind of talk about religion, and it's this one and track number 12. But that's pretty much what it is a knock against religion.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty standard. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. He mentions a cobra, and then I don't know. Like it's just so
Like
weird.
a slither.
Yeah, a slither, yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
They're actually saying cobra.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they're saying,
Cobra. Is that what
yeah,
they do?
Yeah.
I always thought it was whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You're nothing but a. Yeah, so he's saying you're nothing but a dead weight. So
Dead weight.
So I think he's saying like religion is a dead weight
I wouldn't be surprised.
on society as a whole or something like that.
Typical
and we're
punk.
just
Yeah.
we're just carrying it, and we shouldn't be carrying it anymore. But it's good. Track number 11 is "Pardon Me."
Thanks a lot.
Pardon me.
Well,
Thanks a lot.
Another really fast one.
Yeah, and this song is against greedy rich people.
Yeah.
Like hating on them, which I get. But
There's one song that was a real specific. What's the name of the next song?
"Check request denied."
I can't remember if it was this song or the next song, but one was specifically written for, I think, Mitt Romney from Massachusetts, the governor. Was he
Really?
Was he the governor of Massachusetts? I believe he was. And I think
know.
it was written in response to him doing something specific.
Interesting. Okay, I never came across
It might have
that
been
while
the
looking
next
up
one.
the episodes.
It might have been the next one. Why don't you start talking about the song and I'll look it up while we're here.
So "Check request denied" is again a knock against religion.
All right, I think I found it.
Okay.
Pardon me, thanks a lot.
Okay, so it was that one.
So this is an interview from Alt Press, and the interviewer says, and this is all going to be direct quotes. Interviewer says, "Going back to your lyrics, I'm really curious about Pardon Me, Thanks a Lot. I think it has some pretty direct lyrics, and I'm wondering who specifically it's about." So here's what Trevor Riley said. This is the guitar player, Trevor Riley.
Yeah.
It's about Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney has had a thing against our city. We're from this city called New Bedford, which is Massachusetts. I'm sure everybody who knows he's the governor of Massachusetts, and he effed over our city pretty bad. He didn't get any support from where we live because we're a very democratic city. And the people of our city never showed him any love because, the people of our city are like, effing salt of the earth type people, like blue collar, something that dude doesn't understand. So, now he's running for president and it's all a big joke. So I felt like writing it.
Huh.
And Mitt Romney's a Mormon?
Yes.
So maybe that has something to do with it too.
Maybe.
The religious part. But it's specifically about him.
Okay. Interesting.
Weird.
I didn't come across that whenever I was researching these songs. But since that was track number 12 and there are only 13 songs in the album, Steve, track number 13 must be the one that I recommend.
It is.
It is, yeah. It's called We Built This City, ! In parentheses, on debts and booze.
Arise, eat, work, sleep, awake, arise.
Yeah.
How did you like that part when it's just the kick drum and the bass?
Yeah. So good.
That song's a ripper. Oh,
The whole album's a ripper.
I know. You can't say this song's a ripper because it never lets up.
And the reason that this one's different from the other ones is that it's like 5.5 minutes long.
It is. This is the longest song. In the first, the track number 2 and 3 are also long, 5 to 9 in the horse. They're probably like 4 to 5 minutes, but this one's longer than
this
both
one's the
of those.
longest. Yeah. Interesting fact: they recorded their longest song, this one, on this album, and their shortest song, the first song on this album,
Oh, interesting.
as a band. But anyway, this song is about that line that Steve was just saying: "Awake, arise, eat, work, sleep. Awake, arise, eat, work, sleep.
Just
awake, arise."
It's mindless drones, pretty
Just
much.
over and over again,
You're in a routine and you're just doing it, doing it.
So it's
doing
like,
it, doing
I
it,
guess their
doing
way
it.
of like, kind of how meaningless life kind of can be. But that we need to fight through that meaningless and find purpose, essentially.
But after that kick drum and bass, that guitar solo is so good.
There's a very long instrumental kind of like bridge in this song.
And it's just so good.
It is really good.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, just kind of, I guess to sum it up, I really like that album. I'm not sure if I'll be like listening to it super often. And it wasn't like my favorite recommendation from you, but it was still pretty good though.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, looking towards the future, next week will be another one-off episode.
One-off?
Which we don't know what it's going to be yet.
Not yet.
Do you have a recommendation for the following?
I do.
What is it?
Do you have one?
I do.
Okay. My recommendation for the next full-length episode that we do is going to be the album Trouble Will Find Me by The National.
The National. I think you've told me about them, right?
Yeah.
Curious. The National. Well, I'm going to go with a band that's a little bit more on the emo side.
Okay.
It's a band called Taking Back Sunday.
Taking Back what day?
Sunday. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yep, I have.
And it's not my favorite album by them, but it might be their most popular. It's called Louder Now.
Okay.
I'm really not sure what you're going to think about this.
What? Louder now, please.
I'm really not sure what you're going to think about this.
Okay.
Because you're not...
I'm not too heavy into the emo stuff.
Yeah, I
Emo
mean...
era of music.
Controversies aside, you'll at least like the brand new, like their... What do you think about their earlier sound?
Controversies aside, I like their earlier sound.
Okay, so you might like this because they were kind of neck and neck coming
Well,
up.
oh, were they really?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
And there's even
I didn't know
controversy
that.
between the two bands of like
Really?
someone dated someone's girl. Like it was weird, like personal stuff between the bands,
Okay.
like beefs.
Beefs.
Wait, is
Back-
it beefs
back when-
or is it beeves? Beefs? Or
Isn't it beefs?
I don't know. Beeves?
Let me ask Google real quick.
What is the plural of beef? Say Google, what's the plural?
Is it beefs or beeves?
That's a bad...
According to culinarylore.com, according to a small article,
Plural of beef is actually beeves.
I knew it!
apparently, this is the plural form as indicated in the Oxford English Dictionary and Merriam-Webster.
Thanks, Google. Thanks, Google.
I knew it wasn't beefs.
I'm happy to help.
You're such a helpful lady.
I don't think
It's beeves.
Let's see if Siri gives me the same answer.
Okay.
I'll ask. Should I say?
Say exactly what I said. I said, is it beef? Is it beef or beeves?
All right. Hold on. Hey Siri, is it beef or beeves?
Here's what I found on the web for is it beef or beavers?
Beavers.
Oh wait, she's in Australia, so let me ask it in an Australian accent. Hey Siri, is it beef or beefs?
Here's what I found on the web for is it beef or beeves?
Hey, she said beeves that time, not beavis.
Well, yeah, she at least spelled it correctly, but
What does she bring up?
she brought up a website culinarylore.com, and it's saying, is the plural of beef really beeves? The answer is yes,
She got it too.
but she didn't give the best answer. Yours was better.
They've got, so those two band have many beeves.
Beeves, yeah, they
Between
beeved
them.
it out.
They beeved it out.
Quit beaving me, bro.
There are too many
Oh, man.
beeves up here. Way too many beeves in this world.
Yeah, too many puppies. Anyways, before we sign off, should we clink our glass and finish it off?
Yeah, let's do that.
Any other notes about your beer?
Say the same.
The vanilla came through a little bit more.
Okay, that's nice.
Not as prominently as I wanted it to,
Yeah,
but the sourness kind of mellowed out a little bit too. It turned out to be really solid.
nice,
I would get this again.
nice.
Would you have that again?
Yeah, I bought a 6-pack, so
So you have to, but
I'm gonna have it again.
all right. Well, as we always say in American Brews and Tunes, down the hatch. Delicious. Once again, my name is Stephen Johnston,
And my name is Jesse Titus.
and this is American Brews and Tunes.
Thanks for listening.
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity-beeby-da.